innocent, harmless. How wrong can you be? Welcome to our side, where today we explore what would happen if clouds weren't just vapor floating by, but rather solid masses hovering above us. What exactly is a cloud? Well, they're essentially tiny water droplets, or ice crystals suspended in the atmosphere. Cumulus. As any fan of Cloud Appreciation Day knows, clouds aren't just water, they're also big, fluffy snowballs sometimes. Imagine birds building their nests, not in trees or on cliffs, but in the clouds themselves. Picture towering thunderclouds, not as ominous, dark masseuse, but as roiling grey blobs crashing into each other. Now picture yourself stuck inside one. Talk about a bumpy ride, and with no clear skies, storms could brew without end. If clouds are solid, does that mean he's not dead? Well, if Elvis is in the clouds, he'll be there forever. But what about us? If clouds became a permanent fixture, would we evolve to live among them? It's possible. Humans are adaptable creatures, but it would come at a cost. Our vision would likely improve, allowing us to pierce the perpetual gloom. Our sense of touch would develop to feel the ever-present drizzle on our skin. In fact, we might start to see the world in shades of moisture. Maybe we'd grow wings. Not the feathery kind, but the fleshy bat kind. Just imagine swooping and soaring through the cloudy skies. Now that's a reality I wouldn't mind waking up to. Flooding could become the norm, turning the world into one giant water park. But instead of fun slides, it'd be turbulent rapids everywhere. The sky's the limit, but so are the dangers. Would we thrive on these cotton castles, or would gravity bring everything crashing down? Let us know your take in the comments. And until next time, this is Other Side, taking you beyond the limits of imagination. Oh, and if you found this video interesting, don't forget to show your support. It means a lot. And then there's the electrifying thought. What if the clouds sparked? Literally, in a world where clouds are solid conductors, lightning wouldn't strike through the sky. It would strike the sky itself. Imagine massive bolts of electricity ripping through the cloud formations, leaving scorched trails in their wake. One wrong move, and you could find yourself holding the short straw, well, the short cloud. And let's not forget the boom factor. Thunder wouldn't be a rumble in the distance, it'd be a roar overhead. In fact, it could become deafening. And don't think for a second that clouds would always be this docile either. They could erupt into powder puffs of doom. Picture a sunny day, you're strolling through the clouds, enjoying the view when suddenly a cloud bursts, unleashing a torrent of fine water particles. Next thing you know, you're in the middle of a whiteout, struggling to see through the sudden cloud burst. The serenity of a cloud-dotted sky would turn into a gamble, hoping your cloud didn't erupt into a puffy catastrophe. Picture puffy nest swings gently in the breeze at 2,000 feet. And what about the polar bear? Would they evolve to navigate the cloud seas? All those myths about heaven being in the clouds or gods walking on clouds, they wouldn't be myths anymore. They'd be travel guides. In fact, religion and mythology would likely undergo a serious revision. No more stories of hell beneath. Now it's all about heaven above. Maybe cloud architecture would become a new religion. And how many of you would head to the cloud mecca? Imagine pilgrims making a yearly trek to the nearest solid cloud formation. The spiritual significance of touching the sky would be a powerful draw. Then there's the athletic angle. Cloud climbing could become an extreme sport, kind of like mountain climbing, except way higher. Professional cloud climbers, sponsorships, competitions, you name it. The Earth Games could add a whole new discipline. Cloud surfing. The best part though is that it would make for some amazing views. Imagine capturing the perfect selfie on top of a cloud, the world spread out below you like a wrinkled blanket. Cloud hopping could become a global pastime, a weekend activity for the adventurous type. Of course, there would be accidents, daredevils falling to their doom. But hey, that's all part of the fun, right? We can only imagine. But amidst this chaos, some things would stay constant. Take Mount Everest, for example. No matter how high the clouds rose, Mount Everest would still stand tall, literally. It's the highest point on Earth, so it would remain the highest point, period. In a world of solid clouds, Mount Everest would be the one place where you could stand and truly say, you're on top of the world. But here's a fun thought. What if you fell into a cloud? Would you sink or float? Assuming you're not made of the same stuff clouds are made of, you'd probably sink. That's because clouds are less dense than air, so they float. And since you're denser than air, you'd sink in them. It's like trying to stay afloat in cotton candy, and while that might sound fluffy, it could get dangerous. So while it might not rain per se, it would definitely drizzle or snow. In this solid cloud world, think of it like a never-ending light precipitation. That's because the very nature of clouds would change. They'd become rain machines, slowly dripping moisture onto the ground below. It's like having an endless supply of leaky faucets all over the sky. And don't think for a second that sun bathers would get a break either. Sunshine would struggle to penetrate the thick cloud cover, meaning days would be perpetually overcast. No more golden rays warming your skin, just soft diffused light casting long shadows on the ground. And here's a scary thought. What if the clouds blocked the sun entirely? No more photosynthesis, no more food production. Plants would wither, animals would perish. The world as we know it would collapse. They look like cotton balls, cirrus wisps, stratus sheets. No matter the form, they all share one key feature. In our reality, clouds are intangible, impassable. But what if that wasn't the case? What if they were as solid as a rock, or at least as firm as foam? The implications are staggering. From infrastructure to airplanes, ecosystems to Elvis, architects would draw up plans for sky cities, sprawling metropolises. They'd still fly. It's just that the cloud cover would make flying tricky. The iconic Boeing 747 wouldn't be navigating the skies anymore. It'd be navigating the clouds. Pilots would need new skills, maybe even new licenses to cut through the sky mush. In fact, aviation as we know it might grind to a halt, with no clear skies for navigation. International travel could become a thing of the past. Planes might turn into bush planes, hopping from cloud city to cloud city. And, who knows, maybe this could revive the classic propeller plane. After all, who needs fancy contraptions when you got propellers? And don't forget about those propellers, now firmly planted in the realm of the fantastic. With clouds as solid as a rock, helicopters would have a field day. No more battling wind currents. They could simply carve their own path through the cloud formations. In fact, with some modifications, helicopters could become the preferred mode of transportation in this new world. Imagine a chopper ride to work, cruising through the cloud tops. Just remember to pack a parachute. Yeah, it's gonna get wild. Floating above the hustle and bustle of the ground-level urban sprawl. The view would be sublime. Imagine waking up in your sky-high apartment to a sunrise that paints the clouds below in hues of pink and gold. Cloud farms could supply fresh produce to the masses. Picture fields of grain swaying in the wind at 3,000 feet. Or imagine vineyards producing the finest vintage wines, gravity-defying grapes. And then there's the ultimate thrill-seekers, fantasy, the world's first cloud roller coaster. No more loops and dips through the clouds. You can ride on them. Now the only limit to human ingenuity would be the sky, well, and gravity. We're gonna lay out how a world of clouds would change everything. So let's start with the basics. For starters, sky infrastructure would become a thing. But speaking of gravity, it brings us to one of the most immediate impacts of this shift. Airplanes would be grounded. Okay, not literally grounded. Speaking of getting wild, what happens to rain in a world of solid clouds? Does it stop raining? Well, not exactly. The impact on ecosystems would be drastic. Imagine a storm so violent it churns the clouds into a maelstrom of awfulness. It would also dramatically change culture. Now, you might be wondering about Elvis. In conclusion, a world where clouds are solid would be a world turned upside down, literally.